Tariffs are at 104%, and I have a ship of Mother's Day inventory headed to the US now, and before anyone says anything, my small business can't make our products in the US. The infrastructure to make the products we make is not here.
So one misguided belief I've heard from proponents of these tariffs is that it's supposed to bring manufacturing back to the United States or make more competitive the businesses that do manufacture here as compared to those that are importing their goods. And it's just not going to play out like that. I can speak to the jewelry industry specifically.
We manufacture luxury perfumes and skincare. We manufacture in India, and packaging components come from China. Our cost of goods will go up anywhere from 25 to 30%. So what does this mean for you, the consumer? The vast majority of companies, since we have to pay this tax directly to the federal government, are going to increase prices. So that means everything manufactured outside of the US, which is maybe 80% of the goods you buy, will see price increases.
One of my $13 clips could cost upwards of $40 in less than a month. And that price increase is not going to me. It will all go to the US government because of Trump's new tariffs, and there is not an alternative or a way around this.
So, Trump's tariffs are in action, though some have been walked back, and if you listen closely, you could hear the collective "oh hell no" from every small business owner in America. Yep, the US has slapped import duties on products from nearly every country on the map. And small businesses? They're the ones catching the full blast. You know, the ones already juggling rent, inflation, a cranky internet, and Karen reviews on Google, now add 10 to 145% extra on their supplies, courtesy of Uncle Sam. Small biz owners now have two options: hike prices and watch customers disappear, or absorb the cost and pray they don't go broke before July. Either way, the stress is so real, even their scented candles are burning out from anxiety.
And this particular brand is based out of France, and they sent me a package of some collagen powder, and this package was valued at $32.78, and the tariff rate when they sent the package was 6.3%. Meaning I owed $2.08 in tariffs on this package, which, okay, that's not that much. It's a relatively cheap package. But the brokerage fee that they're charging me on top of that is $14, meaning I owe $16.08, which is half the value of the package that they sent me. Additionally, I did not open this up soon enough, so I actually owe a 10% late fee on top of that, but I still feel like I'm getting off pretty lucky because, like I said, when they sent me this package, the tariff rate was only 6.3%, okay? And now, on a package coming from France, it's 20%.
But I also don't see how it's possible for it to play out in any other industry, consumer goods, or anything that has been manufactured overseas for decades already. Over time, maybe, but in the meantime, so many small businesses are going to suffer, and it's so unfortunate. Even for companies that are able to manufacture products here in the US, most of their materials or components are coming from other places, so it's going to just continue to increase the cost of production. On top of that, some of the manufacturing processes we don't have the infrastructure for here, and it would take, who knows, decades probably to create that infrastructure if it's at all possible.
If you're wondering how the tariffs are going to affect your shopping, let me explain. I know we're the leading South Asian clothing brand in the US, so I know a lot about importing, especially from India. Before yesterday, you may not have known it, but anything you ordered abroad that was below $800 did not get a import duty. Anything you ordered that was above $800 would get duties according to the HTS code that the importer or the exporter had put it under. So for example, there's a different HTS code for jeans versus cotton. Now, everything you order is going to have an import duty of at least 10%. Now, as a consumer, you might be saying, well, I never order anything abroad, which is fair. I only order within the US. But now everything we have in the US, which are not manufactured in the US, which is practically almost everything, is going to get an additional tariff. And companies, we don't make the margins so that we can take into account this 26% tariff. We're getting margins just enough to cover our costs and make a little bit of profit.
For my company, I don't think we're going to raise prices. What happens is we have to absorb these costs, right? It shrinks our margins. So now we have to decide, how are we going to make up for that? Are we going to have to cut salaries? Are we going to have to lay folks off? We won't do that, but it's going to impact our day-to-day operations, right? We're going to have to make cuts that would go to likely agency partners or folks here in the U.S. Bottom line is this is economically disastrous. It's going to make things more expensive. It's going to hurt businesses and hurt consumers. So all business owners were hoping this is just a blip on the radar and, this policy gets appealed.
My favorite argument is, well, the whole purpose is to make everyone manufacture in the U.S. How is the small business that makes Langas supposed to make them in the U.S.? Net is get ready to spend a lot more money and pray for all your favorite small businesses.
So I don't really know if the brokerage fee or the disbursement fee changes with the value of the package or if it's always just $14. But what I do know is that if you are somebody that makes content and you are used to receiving packages, keep an eye out for these. Obviously, you can ask the brand to reimburse you. They might not. But also, looking at this, they didn't give me that much time to pay it. It looks like they invoiced me on March 21st, and this was due on April 1st. And since I opened it late, I obviously paid it late, so there was a 10% fee on that. So imagine now that your package is way more expensive than mine was. And then you have a 20% tariff on that, plus whatever the brokerage fee is, plus a 10% late fee if you don't pay it on time. Like I said, I got lucky with a 6.3% tariff rate. Okay, if they would have sent this just like a week and a half later, it would have been 20%. That's insane.
I'm a jeweler who has made my own pieces here in my home studio, and I've never outsourced my manufacturing to any other countries, but that's the fabrication of the pieces themselves. My materials, like gemstones, gold, are all coming from all over the world, and that's in part because of where gemstones are found, right? Sure, we can find gemstones here in Montana, but most of those are sent off to Thailand to be cut and polished, because that is just one of the cutting and polishing centers of the world. It's where that trade has been going on for so long, that they have the expertise, they have the infrastructures, they have the network, everything. And as a jeweler, who I guess in theory this is meant to benefit, because those competing companies that have been outsourcing their manufacturing will now have higher cost, it doesn't actually help in any way, really, because our costs were already so different. That gap was already so wide that I was never going to be competing with those companies that outsource their manufacturing to begin with.
Our claw clips are made out of cellulose acetate, which is a stronger, eco-friendly alternative to plastic. Cellulose acetate is a raw material of China, which means we literally cannot make our clips anywhere else. And we all know that Trump's biggest target with the tariffs is China. I've been in business for 5 years, so I have a lot of inventory built up that I will not be able to sell soon.
And now on top of that, certain components that are made elsewhere, or gemstones, for example, are now going to be even more expensive, adding even more to my cost. Yeah, honestly, this whole thing is just so upsetting, because not only are the small businesses here going to be hit the hardest, it's also the mining communities and the communities that are dependent on cutting and polishing that are going to be hit really hard too if we are importing less of their goods.
This is our most popular product, which went viral last year, the keepsake case, which is patented because of the top tray. The smaller size is a minimum of $250 per unit to manufacture in the US, with wood that's lesser quality than what we have now. That means we would have to sell these for a minimum of $400, which is impossible.
And let's talk about options. You think customers can just buy American? Not unless you want to pay more than double for many products. This ain't patriotism, folks, it's masochism with a Made in USA sticker. And all of it, is being sold to us as a revival of American manufacturing. But building factories takes years. Most of these small businesses don't have the luxury of time, or cash, or a billionaire tax break to hide behind. They've got bills now, rent now, tariffs now. Oh, and while we're here, let's not ignore the irony. Most rural counties, especially farming ones, voted for Trump. Red to the bone. And now? They're deep in tariff territory with no bailout in sight. Farmers are getting squeezed harder than an overripe avocado at Whole Foods. So yeah, maybe tariffs can be useful, in theory. But this is a crash course in economic whiplash. And it's the little guys, the ones who actually create jobs, who are being run over by this Made in America wrecking ball. What do you think? Comment and let us know. If you like this video, send this to someone who needs to see it. Before you scroll, smash that like button and subscribe, because we have more exciting stories coming your way.